Hey guys, it's dlwalker. I hope you have your cold water with you. Well, it's July 2021. Finally got old Ratzuki, drug it back out. I started on this a couple years ago. I can't believe it's been 2 years already. I went and looked at the last video. Yep, it was July of 2019. That's when I did my first cancer thing. So as you know, that's coming back. Also, my poor wife Liza, that's a lot younger than me, has thyroid cancer. We go next Wednesday for a checkup, and I'm sure they're going to take it out. We'll start that whole journey. So I decided I better do something I really want to do. So I'm going to start working on this thing. This is my 1989 Pro Street bike, and then in the early 90s, well, mid 90s, 93 or 4, I raced it in a 9-inch tire Pro Mod out here on the West Coast. You can watch my other videos of this. I found the bike after I think it was 24 or 26 years on Craigslist with no motor in it. Went through 2 guys, never had an engine in it since I sold it. They painted it this ugly yellow, painted over all the bolts, cut brackets off, blah, blah, blah. But it's the same bike that I built from scratch with Sandy Cosman and Cosman Racing back in 1989. I actually went the very best on this without a bar. I did break in the 7s way back, I think before anybody else. I went 797, about 174, and that was at a test day at Bakersfield on a good condition day, Bakersfield, California. It's a fast track when it's not super hot. And then I went into the 9-inch tire class we used to have out here, a series at NMRA, which was Palmdale, Sears Point, Sacramento, and a couple other tracks on the West Coast. And with the 9-inch tire and a wheelie bar, I changed the bike around. And I think I went like 740, 742 or something, best ever. About almost 180. So anyway, I'm going to start working on this little by little. I just drug it out, and I'm working on some of the panels and some of the stuff on the body, and I want to show you some stuff on it that I've been doing. And then the bike, I may notch the frame up in front of the cylinder head. It's really tight there, because this bike started as a Kawasaki chassis. And then I got screwed on the rules politics, and in 6 weeks I changed it into a Suzuki with my GS motors in it, and it was always real. I get everything all good, but the front was always really close on the cylinder head. It's kind of a pain taking the head off without touching things. So I may address that and notch the frame, but pretty soon I want to pull the whole bike apart. I'm going to start the final assembly as far as painting it, detailing it, all new fasteners, and then slowly reassemble it. And I got my motor over here, my Bullet it's my engine that I had in my last Kendall Pro Mod bike that I never ran, but it was in this bike originally. I kept the engine. And so anyway, let me grab the camera and I'll show you just a couple things I'm doing, and I think you'll enjoy it. There's the boys over there. There's Rip Jr., 21 MT09. There's Rusty, the 2020 Tracer 900 GT, and there's Mr. Green, beautiful Mr. Green, 19 C900 RS Cafe. You know those guys. Anyway, here's the original FRP body that's the original body I built this bike with in 1989. It was widened at one time. It had a narrower 18-inch slick on it back in the day. 7.5 or 8-inch small slick, and then I widened it for a 9-inch Goodyear 15-inch car tire. Yeah, so I just been making these little panels. I already had them made up, but now I got them all fine-tuned and all real Sano and pop rid of them on today. What that does is, I'll show you when I put it on the bike. I made this little fenderette, it's called. It had one, but they ripped it off, so I had to make one out of aluminum. and it's all Sano now. I had it bolted on, and now I'm satisfied, so I riveted it. It'll be all painted. I airbrushed this. Pretty cool, huh? Tail light. But it's all pop rivet now. But this will all blend in, because when I paint the bike, I'll integrate the paint job, so it'll kind of all go away and be one. I hate fiberglass. Otherwise, I'd make them out of fiberglass and make little molds and finish it all that way. But it'll look good. This is the original seat Mike made for me at Corbin back in '89. We're going to recover it, put one of my new style covers on it with the little hole shot Corbin logo on it. So that's that. And then as far as the chassis goes, I got these panels here done now. I got some real Sano little fasteners here for the little top fairing. This is like an '88, to reiterate here. This is like a 1988, I believe that's what it is. GSXR 750. AirTech was nice enough to pull out their old mold, because that's what I had on it originally, and they made me one. It wasn't exactly like the one I used to run, but really close. Kind of want to make the bike like it used to be. And then I extended it because it didn't look good, and I wanted it. This kind of makes it. It's not a real air box sealed, but all the air will come in from under the fairing here. Pretty good, and through those holes there. And this directs it under the body, and then down here it keeps it from escaping. And then you got your tub here, and this is all covered. And so when it comes in, at least it's trapping the air in here for the carburetors. This is a real sanitary mount. My brother-in-law Pablo we call him. He's his wife and my wife, Liza, and Yanni. My wife's Liza. Yanni is Paul's wife. That's how I met Liza. And he's an ace fab guy. He raced off-road cars for 15 or 18 years, built complete rolling Volkswagen single-seater, two-seater cars. He was an off-road racer, did pretty good in the 80s. Anyway, that's a real Sano bracket that he made for the fairing stay. I don't know if you can see his welds are pretty awesome. He's the guy that when we were building headers would weld them all up. All my jigs are over there. So I got that mounted. I made a little dash. This is intended for a little air ratio gauge. This is a small little digital tack. It's going to go here, square rectangular tack, a Daytona little tack. Mainly I'll just use that off the starting line for my launch RPM. And then the shift light, right? Various switches. And so this frame, see, in the old days, before they built complete rolling chassis, they did the frame conversions, the old stuff, and that's what this is, but it still works pretty good. I think the best 60-foot time I ever went on this thing was about in the 115 range, 117 to 113. Okay? And you know, in pro street form, you know, you're only gonna, the wheelbase is still only 72 inches, so you have your limit there. And with a solid rear end, you don't have the, you know, $1,000 Penske shocks or whatever, the drag shocks to adjust and make the bike squat down, help it from wheeling. So you're limited, but it's still haul ass. So yeah, I had all the electronics already mounted in here. I think I showed you a video of that. I got it all pulled apart now because I'm going to pull it down. But yeah, so we did that. And then if you see here, you know, it's hard to tell because it's black. It's got clearance there, but not much. And I even machined the cylinder head valve cover off in one spot, if you can see it right in there. But the head will come off, but I'd still like to have enough clearance. This is a mock-up motor. Nothing's in this engine. Tranny's sitting in it just so I can put the side cover and use the shift linkage, because I moved the foot pegs up. They were always back about 2 inches too far, so now I'm real comfortable on it, and so on. That's a Vance & Hines Pro Stock Sidewinder that they used to make, probably still do make. See, there's your for your air fuel per cylinder up to the computer if you're going to use that. That's I believe it's 1 5/8 stepped to 1 3/4. It's pretty giant. And then we shorted and made what I call a mini meg. It's pretty cool. That thing's gonna sound so good. It's so short. Yeah, I made a new nitrous bottle mount. Now I can slide it right out the side with the body off here. Battery box. Like I say, all my electronics is already mounted. I have a real nice plate here already, all made up with all my relays and so on. This is a catch tank. Original one I added one more breather. There's there's 3 different breather systems on this bike, and then there's a drain on the bottom. These are my Nitrous Solenoids, and I machined these years ago. The nozzles coming in here, and these are Cosman. This was all Cosman forks he made back in the day. These were called the Cosman drag forks. Forget the size, but they're small, lightweight, and then it's got a little fork brace that wraps around the back, see? The wheel they changed. I had a 16-inch, kind of a wide rim, and I sure wish I had that, because man, it worked good. So I had to buy a whole brand new RC Component 18-inch wheel with the small drag slick they use now, the Mickey Thompson. I believe, yeah, that's Mickey Thompson. And Daytona, I got a new Daytona damper, kind of like I used to run, that you can tighten it till it almost doesn't move. Got brand new Magura master cylinder. The brake calipers and stuff are still good. I can't believe it. They still function. So, yeah, these are Cosman wheel, a 15-inch wheel in the back with a removable center, they call a spider. And I'll be taking that all apart, decide what I'm going to do with it. I just polish everything, strip it, probably repowder coat the center, not sure. So I used to have a 9-inch Goodyear, which is a little taller than this. I think it was 28. This is a 26. 26. It's an 8.5 wide, 15-inch, and that should work pretty good. I already set up kind of the ride height of the bike and so on. So yeah, gas tank right here in the frame. Doesn't hold that much, but it's enough. So pretty cool. Yeah, let me stick the body on, and I'll show you kind of how it looks here against the body and the clearance I got and what I'm doing with that. Okay, I got the body on the bike. As you can see, like I was talking about, it seals pretty good on the sides. And as you can see, the airflow would come up underneath the fairing above the top of the body where the gas tank is covered, and the side panels cover the carburetors, which are good to get that turbulence off the side of the carburetors. So yeah, this is looking pretty nice now. I've got the panels all symmetrical, got pretty even clearance to the body, and the body slides back off the Zeus mounts, so it's not going to really hit here. That's looking pretty sano. So yeah, I'll pull that off. I'll show you underneath with the fairing off and everything. Let's go over here. I want to show you some stuff real quick. I did this in the earlier videos, but it's been a couple years, so why not? So this is a little plate that mounts on the back tub. So that's the Dyna 4000. There was a great ignition back in the day. Still a good ignition. It's just now they have a lot more stuff, of course. Programmable nitrous and all different, you know, progressive and all that crap. So this ignition has a low rev limit off the line, stutter, and then a rev limit for top end separately. This is your 2 different ignition retards. I'll just run one. Might not run any. Total timing usually with nitrous on the 4-valve I run 28 degrees, 28 to 30 total. The 4-valve motors like to run at about 34 degrees actually, total timing with naturally aspirated. So what I used to do is leave the lime at full advance, even with nitrous, and then in second gear I would back it up. And whether it really helped or not, who knows? That's what I did. So here's a couple relays. One relay mounted here. Actually, another one mounts here. It's not on there right now. Little power inlet junction block. This is the. It's got a sticker on it, but that's the little Daytona digital tack that's going to mount on the dash. This is the. What's it? Innovate air fuel. Kept from one of my hot rod projects that I didn't put in. That mounts in the hole in that dash. I don't even know if I'm going to use it, but probably will. I can peek at that real quick, going through the lights, and see what the air fuel is. Kind of use that as a tuning aid. No computer on this bike. This is one of my old electric shifter plates. Way back in the day. You know, I invented the first electric shifter, you know, way back in the mid-'80s for the KZ 900 motors, and with a plate on the end of the shift drum that killed the motor between shifts, an aluminum plate. This is the one I designed for the GS motors, and when the plunger, that's your neutral light indicator plunger, is on the pin, is when it keeps it running. And then as you load up the shifter, it gets onto the nylon Delrin, shuts the motor off between the gears with the relay in between, and you can foot shift it. To set the timing of it, of when it kills, you do like this on the screws, fore or aft, clockwise or counterclockwise, so the shift drum, when you load it up, it's going to pull off of there. This is for a full kill trans. Some of my automatics I would machine and have a little brass insert between to keep it running, like 1 to 2 auto. This bike, I put a full kill trans in it. So I'm going to run my old school shifter. I'm going to foot shift this thing. And my feet are all comfortable. I bring my foot up, push straight back on the shifter. I might put my full push button shifter on it eventually, but I kind of want to ride it like the old days. Single stage nitrous. Maybe have a switch on the clutch lever down below, but I think I'll use a button. I'm not going to have progressive. I'm just going to use a single stage and try to ride the shit out of the thing. I used to have a, can't do it with this pipe. I had a Murray that was more of a sidewinder, and I had a long motor mount bolt with real custom mounts on the lower part of the frame down there. I could add up to 30 pounds in front of the motor real down low. Round donuts I machined out of stainless. It costs so much now. But yeah, I used to run up to 25, 28 pounds in the front sometimes. Even though it's more weight, I could leave harder. And then I sent the carburetors off to Paul Gast. He's a good friend of mine, clear from way back in the day. And these are 44 electrons. These are my carburetors from my last engine. I sent them to him because they've been sitting forever. He went through and freshened them up, and then they actually run them on a motor. So those are in a box. Thought I'd show you that. This is something you don't want to do. Is that ugly? This is out of my 1497 cc engine. This is an 85 millimeter bore. The engine over here that I built, that was in my last Kindle bike that's never been run, that's going in this, is 83 millimeters, so it's a 1428. But yeah, I used to be sponsored by Nitrous Oxide Systems, and they sent me some jets, and one of the jets was drilled 2,000ths under. And I went 173 on this pass. It happened right at the lights. It doesn't take long. I was in high gear. I don't know, probably going 173 or something like that, and all of a sudden, when I rolled out of it, there you go. This is on the intake side, and when it leans out like that, it's just like if you stuck a cutting torch inside the intake port and just turned it on, pushed the button. God, that ticked me off. Especially when I found out it was just a jet, right? Anyway, I'm glad I kept that. So let me show you something I haven't really shown anybody. I don't really care, because I'm just doing this for fun now. So this cylinder head I did, you shorten the ports about an inch, straighten them all out, machine big spigots to match the 44mm carburetors. This is a ratty valve cover. My real one's on the mock-up motor over there. This is a Ward Performance top-end oiling kit. Has a stock crank redone by Falicon. It's got Falicon rods. It's balanced and polished a little bit, and then it's got bigger pins because it's a roller bearing pressed pin, and then they're all welded. It's got a straight cut gear on the crank, a Vance and Hines full billet clutch hub with the straight cut gear, the MRE lockup clutch, and more clutch plates, and like we used to run, and I already had them all, so that's what I'm using. Okay, so this porting, I have a lot of time in this cylinder head. This cylinder head's been on a couple motors, but I've tuned it up since I ran it last. First time I've ever shown anybody my intake port. I don't know if you can see that very good, it's so bright. You see it? Hoping you can. Hard to get the light in there right. There you go. Yeah, so see the port floor is all epoxied up. The roof is enlarged and bigger, but not raised near as much as the port floor. That's the way to do it. And then I call it a spread port. The ports are all spread out, and the guides are completely gone. Not going to really tell you what size valves are in there, but they're big. Went through in a couple spots. That's JB weld. Okay. God, I wish you could see that better. It's hard to tell. Let's see if I can. That's a little better, huh? Anyway, they're all like that. Some flow bench work, a lot of just by experience. So, yeah, it's got some pretty big Megacycle camshafts in it that I used to be sponsored by Megacycle, Jimmy Dewar, then on that. He was a good friend of Sandy Cosman. Yeah, cams are probably a little too big, actually. But anyway, a lot of PM performance machine, titanium retainers, valve springs, their guides. I actually sent the head down to Byron, and Byron was always nice to me. And he spread the guides out for me so I could run the biggest valves you can put in as far as stainless valves. And you spread them apart, and then the rocker arm tip is actually offset on the top of the valve a little bit. It's not centered, but hey, it's drag racing. They don't run that long. But I'm not going to lean on it too hard. I'm going to run some moderate nitrous, you know, and we'll just see what I can do. Pretty sure I can still ride it. Like I say, I got my cancer stuff going on, and what do you think, guys? I better do it while I can, right? So, out here, I'm just doing it for fun. There is a West Coast series, but they don't really have a class for this other than if I put a wheelie bar and run like a 770 index class, which would probably do pretty good in that. I wouldn't have to run it super hard to do that, but I kind of want to run it with no wheelie bar first and just go out here and play at our slow track. Our track's 4,500 feet, so it's full half-second slow. So, you know, if I can get the thing out here to run at 850 or 840 at high 160s, it'll be hauling ass. That'd be low eights or knocking on the door of the old days at a good track. So, let me pull the body back off in the fairing. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about the motor is it's going to have a full kill transmission, not a 1-2 auto or anything. And I did install a billet first, second, and third gear, and a heavy-duty billet output shaft. So, and it's all shimmed up and everything. So it should be pretty damn strong as far as that regard. Unless I have some freak thing, it'd be pretty hard to break it. And of course I've got the nozzles right in the ports. Yeah, I got the fairing also. I thought I'd show you the fairing stay. Actually see the thing, how we made it. It's just tacked together in some places, but turned out real Santa. Yeah, so see, it just goes right into the little tube here on the steering neck. That was all cut off and redone at Cosman. Anyway, I think this wraps it up. This is enough. Get kind of bored now. We're going to move on to the next step. And I'll just keep you in the loop. Kind of fun project, that's for darn sure. Sentimental value for me, this bike. I won 2 national championships on this bike and set a bunch of records and got it back in my hands. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like this kind of stuff and all the stuff on the other family right here. And I'll keep it going as long as I can. And appreciate it. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, say hi in the comments. And thinking about naming this 89 Ratzuki, because I built it in 1989 and Ratzuki is kind of neat. What do you think? I am going to repaint the bike. The body's going to be probably a super light silver. Instead of red, white, and blue, it's going to be silver, white, and blue. And going to have an American flag on the rear tail. We need to support our country. We can't stand what's going on right now. I don't care if you like it or not. I don't like it. So, yep, we're going to have the flag up on here. Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your support. Take care till next time.